It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a detailed look at the performance of the Nike Kobe 8 Protro, and while this is probably the second most popular pair after the Kobe 6s, I do get a lot of questions about if they are really worth it. So today I'm going to try and answer this question. First things first, they retail for 180 euros or dollars. I got these from Kicks. They had a restock, so big shout out to them. They actually still have a lot of sizes left on their website, so make sure to check that out. You'll find an affiliate link in the description box down below, or you can just use the code Lucas. With that being said, let's get straight into it and start with the traction performance of the Nike Kobe 8. That is actually my first pair of Kobe 8s ever, so I never had a pair of the OGs. And I did hear that they have great traction performance, so I had high expectations, and they definitely matched my high expectations. We have a herringbone type traction pattern with some different patterns on the outside of the shoe and going all the way through the outsole in kind of an S shape, if that makes sense. And of course in the midfoot we have this carbon fiber plate where there is no specific traction pattern, but it does perform extremely well. It bites very good on indoor courts, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I do believe you can wear them outdoors. The smaller grooves are not the most durable, so they will probably wear off quickly, but those thicker grooves that you can see on that S shape that I mentioned are actually very steep and thick and hard to move, so I do believe you can wear them outdoors. And they're also not as hard to get and as expensive as they used to be before in the big hype right after Kobe's tragic passing. So I believe you can actually also wear them outdoors. The dust pickup actually also isn't too bad. You can see there's a little bit of dirt or debris stuck in the forefoot, but it's actually because the court I wore them on today actually is also used by a handball team, and everything gets stuck on the outsole because of that sticky stuff they use for the ball. I'm not quite sure what it's called in English, maybe you can help me out there. Definitely one of the best shoes of all time if you're simply talking about grip on an indoor court. And as I said, also work on dusty courts, and in my opinion, you could even risk taking them outdoors. Is essentially shoes are going to wear down anyways, and they're meant to be played in. Now for probably the most controversial part of the shoe, the cushioning setup. Of course, the Nike Kobe 8 features a React drop-in midsole. That didn't used to be the case back in the day when they originally dropped. There was a Lunarlon drop-in and it was extremely low to the ground. The React drop-in also is extremely low to the ground and also doesn't have good impact protection, but it's a very responsive setup. And if you give them a little bit of time to break in, it will actually get better, because essentially React is a very nice and soft foam. We had it on the PG6, for example, where it worked wonders and it felt great underneath your foot. So just give them a little bit of time and it will work out. But I would still not recommend them for centers or power forwards or just bigger players, bigger guards that need a lot of impact protection, that have heavy landings all the time. They are really more suited for quick and shifty guards or quick and shifty bigger players, if that makes sense. Stepping comfort is alright. As I said, you don't really have a lot of impact protection, you don't have a lot of compression, so it really feels very minimalistic. It's in general a minimalistic setup and a very responsive shoe, very nice and low to the ground. For those of you that are not familiar with the setup of a drop-in midsole or what a drop-in midsole actually is, let me take you through it very quickly. On a regular non-drop-in midsole basketball shoe, you have the cushioning setup here in the midsole, and then you have a regular insole inside of the shoe that you can just take out, and you still have the cushioning setup in the midsole that's connected to the outsole and to the upper. And then here on the Kobe 8s, it's a little bit different, as you have that outsole that's connected to the upper, but the cushioning is right here. So essentially there's no midsole in here, hence the name drop-in midsole, and this is where all the cushioning is. Also an interesting factor, a lot of times the drop-in, especially with weight shoes, is also responsible for the support of a shoe. Here it's a little bit different, as we have this nice carbon fiber plate in the midfoot, so you can only bend and flex the forefoot like crazy, but the midfoot is still relatively stable, as well as the back, because we have that crazy heel counter. And here, as you can see, if I flex that, there is some resistance, which is always nice to have that extra torsional support. I already mentioned support. That is the next thing we're going to talk about, and also mentioned the two primary support features on this shoe, which is this carbon fiber plate here in the midfoot. It doesn't look as nice as the one on the Kobe 6s, if that makes sense, because I believe it is glass-based carbon fiber, so it's a little bit different, but it still works great for torsional support. And then of course we have this really prominent feature right here, the heel counter with the Kobe logo. And in my opinion, that is what makes this shoe so special. Just the heel area looks so cool with Kobe's signature, the heel counter, and his logo right there. It looks so nice in my personal opinion. Every time I put them on foot and I look at this area, I just feel so good when playing them. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but for me, it's just so nice. I'm so happy just looking at it, seeing it on foot, and then I automatically try to play like Kobe. Back to the support features. The lacing system also works very well. It's a little bit of a weird setup as the shoe is extremely low cut. So your ankle really sits over this cutout here. And if you're not used to that, that can be a very weird feeling. Of course, Kobe was inspired by football/soccer players, because he saw them moving like crazy in those really low cut shoes, and that's what he wanted to experience or feel on the basketball court as well. And as I said, very low cut can be a little bit tricky at first, or you need some time to get used to it. But the support is very good, and the laces also do a great job of keeping you locked in, as well as the heel cutter. No heel slip, no like feeling that the materials will give out or that my foot is going to slide out over the footbed. Very supportive feeling and very supportive shoe overall. And what is also a little bit weird is that we have this little cutout here in the laces, so it's actually kind of a two-piece lacing setup, which feels also a little bit weird at first, takes some time to get used to, but does a great job. Materials on this shoe are nothing special. My girlfriend actually said they look cheap. I wouldn't agree to that, simply because I just like the silhouette of the shoe and the look of them. And I do think the materials do a good job. They're very lightweight, very breathable as well. And just because it's not a leather material, it doesn't mean that they look cheap, in my personal opinion. And we're both vegan, so we actually try to avoid leather materials. She just thought that the look of the shoe is just a little bit cheap. And I do see where she comes from, because for her, what I've been telling her about basketball shoes like Kobe, they are like the holy grails of shoes. So I do understand why she maybe expected a little bit more, but the materials do definitely get the job done. Agreed, they're nothing special, but I also wouldn't call them cheap. I haven't noticed any durability issues. We have this little toe guard here, and you can see it's getting worn off a little bit because I do drag my toes a bit, especially in games or if somebody steps on there, but I didn't see any rips or like usual high wear areas that are starting to rip or where I can see signs of wear and tear. Now, for the last two categories, we're going to talk about the fit and the weight of the shoe. They are extremely lightweight, as I said. You've got to keep in mind this is a size 14 and they come in at 442 grams, which is one of the lightest shoes I have in my collection. The fit is a little bit tricky. As you can see already just by looking at it, it's an extremely narrow shape. And if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I have extremely wide feet, especially here in the midfoot. And I was concerned that this little outrigger right here is going to press and pinch like crazy into my foot. That was the case at first, but I'd say after 2 to 3 times, you will be good to go in them. If you have wide feet, I would recommend going up or trying them on in store before you buy them. If you have narrow feet, go with your true size. It's going to be a very snug and nice fit. If you have slightly wide feet, maybe go up half a size. You don't necessarily need to try them on because they will break in and they will conform to your feet a little bit. But also just by looking at the drop-in, you can tell it's a pretty narrow shoe. That's the one thing I don't like about Kobe's, the narrow fit. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the review. Leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and comment your thoughts on the Kobe 8 and on which shoe I should review next. Have a good one and see you next time.